tuned into Gila Nehemiah, Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality, and Ascension. I am so excited to be here today. It is the 23rd of April, so a very, very exciting times. We are moving, or we are in the last quarter moon because it is April 23rd. It's about 50% illuminated. So, as you know, we are in the Eclipse Gateway. The solar eclipse will be coming up on the 30th of April, which is also the new moon in Taurus. And there will be a lunar eclipse as well in May from the 15th to 16th. So, let's begin by taking 3 deep breaths together, and then we can connect into our own inner wisdom. So please close your eyes and begin to take 3 deep breaths at your own pace. Calling in our guides, our angels, God, Source, Universe, the Godhead within, the energies of the moon and the sun, the ancestors in the Pleiadian galaxies, the star systems, our starseed origins, Andromedans, Syrians, Lyrans, all of the goodness and the wisdom of our soul and heart to open up for us now in this really powerful gateway that we're going through at this time. If you'd like to add anything, please do so at this time. Just feel into all of your soul guides, ancestors, planetary energies with you at this time. Feel that love and safety. We'll breathe into that. Oh, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, if you didn't listen to my full moon last week in Libra, please do that. That it was quite a powerful full moon. I feel like we might be still reeling from that, as we are in this gateway of the Taurus new moon and solar eclipse. It's eclipse season because of the lunar eclipse as well in the middle of May. Taurus energy is very grounded. We've already started this Taurus energy. So you may be feeling a lot of big shifts. I wanted to share some themes that have been coming up that I'm going to be talking about in this podcast. Really focusing on being authentic in your inner work. There's some things I'm working on as well. Deeper self inquiry, surrendering, accepting, and really connecting into the subconscious mind. Many of you know, I follow the moon phases, and I saw on Star Walk, which is an app I follow, that Saturn will be, connected to the moon on the 24th, and then Mars, and on the 26th, Venus on the 27th, and Jupiter on the 27th. So, I mean, just a lot of planetary influx. There's also the Jupiter Neptune. And yeah, there's all sorts of things. So those of you that are really into astrology, please listen to an astrologer because they'll give you a lot more information about that kind of stuff. I just hear tidbits and I treat it. I understand as much as I feel that I need to. And really, these podcasts are focusing in on these lunar energies as well as planetary energies to assist you in your growth. Something actually I want to start with that was a little jarring to me, but it did make sense I was looking at a post in Facebook, and and someone mentioned, a person that has a large following mentioned, you know, skeptical about ascension and awakening, and even some of the ascended masters. He said something like, we are all nothing. Um, and I was really thinking about that, and I was like, for those of you who may be listening to this, who is like, what is this ascension? What is this really awakening? Is this really happening? I think it's a good question. It's all part of self-inquiry, right? It's like, everything is, and if you don't believe that, then that doesn't exist for you. Though what I do feel is that, regardless of what you believe, the inner work is really, really important, for our own sense of harmony and peace, which is also what we're going into, and we are, starting to align into, in this gateway, as well as for this, solar eclipse and, the new moon energy, in Taurus. Um, because as we really, reflect upon ourselves, really take in, like go back inside of our own energy, observe who we are, sit in stillness, and in silence. Self-inquiry also includes silence. Um, and, are present with ourselves, we're going to see that, regardless of your belief system, this is an important work that I feel everyone needs to do in order to one, manifest, anything that they desire, but also to come to terms with things that have happened in their life and to change patterns, because patterns exist. You can just look at even just my own family history, you're going to see a pattern. And when we break behaviors, we change patterns. That's a fact. We know that 21 days changes, a pattern. When we do something for 21 days, it changes a habit, it changes the behavior. So, I just wanted to share, a few things regarding that for those of you who, are, skeptical. um, you have good reason to be. I really don't adhere to any kind of dogma. I really feel like everyone needs to ask the questions that they need to ask for their own growth. And even if it's just to themselves or their personal coach, or, their person they're working with, or just, like, ask the universe to help you to figure out what is your next step, and to read and to understand, whatever tools you need. Music could be a source of wisdom. Your own, feelings are a source of wisdom. It's, something I wanted to share as well, in terms of connecting into the subconscious mind, is, something that I have been working on for actually many years, probably about 3 years, on and off. And it's really come into my consciousness, and I've integrated a lot better, was, understanding how the conscious and subconscious mind works. They're kind of two separate things, right? When we are awake, really, like, consciously in interaction with the real world, meaning like we are not just in our minds. We're actually doing things. We're using our conscious mind, right? We're using, our ego, for lack of a better word. But to actually shift and change, it's, when we talk about consciousness, we're working with both the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And that's why this inner work is actually important. It's all actually intertwines, because we have feelings. And something that I used to struggle with a lot was this concept of, the be do have, right? You have to actually be, meaning like feel that you have something, and then you take the inspired action, and then you have it. But that feeling of having it is actually going into your subconscious mind. You consciously think a thought. I was listening to Neville Goddard's, book in a audiobook on YouTube. You can look him up. And, in this book, he talks about sleep, and how, when whatever you are desiring, maybe it is, a relationship, or maybe it's, financial freedom, or a more interesting career, whatever that is for you. As long as you can begin to visualize it and begin to think about it, especially before you go to sleep, it begins to get imprinted on your subconscious mind, and then you are going to find inspired action through your conscious mind to actually manifest that. So it's a very much of a like um, a two-way street process. They're very intertwined, and I love the way he explained it. He's like, oh, they're lovers, they're like, giving and taking and moving together as one, because you need both of them in order to move as one, and he also talks in this particular one that I listened to, about us as being the Godhead, we are the creators. And so wherever you are in your belief in a higher power, I think it's really important to understand that you also have this power. I feel like the way I was brought up is that the power was outside of me. So there's still a sense of there's something outside of me that needs to come inside of me. You know what I mean? It's like still this validation, or I'm supplicating, like I need their help in order to do this thing, which is actually, there's a truth to that. But at the same time, sometimes we give away our power in that way as well. Like we give it to other people, we give it to our partners, we give it to our careers, we give it to our jobs, we give it to our children, sometimes even, we give it to always another being or another energy, instead of actually, again, going within, understanding it's all within us. It is up to us to shift and change. And to honestly, when we go back into authenticity, honestly look at ourselves. What are our, you know, what are what are our what's our resistance? What's our fear? Maybe it's a fear you're not going to have enough. Like I was sharing last week, it's a still that it doesn't go away, right? Just because I shared it last week doesn't mean it's completely gone and healed. It's something that we're constantly working on, So if you feel like you don't have enough money or you don't have enough love, or, there's that underlying enough food even, there's an underlying feeling within ourselves, for many of us, because we grew up in a different kind of matrix, a different kind of social conditioning, that we are not enough, until we pass that test, until we get that job, until we finish that university degree, until we have that relationship, until we buy the house. It can go on forever. But when we go back to this, be to have, when we go back to the feeling that it's already done, that you already have it, that, it's already here, then there isn't any sense of lack. There isn't any sense of I'm not enough. There's only a sense of acceptance and surrender. Um, so they're all coming in together. And so I feel like, and it was a beautiful thing that I read also today. It's someone I follow on Ramana Maharshi, is somebody I read, and he's really a big, like a big saint in India. And he was silent for many, many years. He didn't speak. And sometimes people wanted to learn from him, so he would write. But he at one point when he went into his own path, his own journey of the self, we'll call it self-realization, he decided just not to talk at all, and he had very little interaction with people, but people would come to him and just be in his presence without him speaking. Um, so anyway, this person that I'm following, mentioned that when we actually feel like we have something and accept that that is, like perhaps you went to a psychic or something and they said to you, or a medium, we'll call it that, a medium, and they said, oh, you are going to be financially prosperous, or you are going to have self-realization. You're going to, connect into the Atman. You are on the path of sadhana. Whatever it is that you are really desiring to do, you are already going to get there. Maybe it's going to take you like 10 lifetimes. That was something that they said. And so there were two people, right, that had they were going on the same path in this particular scenario. And one person was saying, when they received that news that it's going to take them more lifetimes, they got really disappointed. They were like, I've been working so hard. I can't believe it's going to take more lifetimes. And the other person that was also doing this kind of self-realization work, and also says that it may take you a few more lifetimes, and they were so glad that they were going to reach it, that like it almost happened instantly. Like he said, as soon as you're sitting under a particular tamarind tree, and as soon as all the leaves fall from the tamarind tree, you're going to reach this, this sadhana. And he was like, thank you, God, that I'm going to reach this sadhana. I am so happy that it's going to happen for me whenever it does happen. And all the leaves fell off the tree. You can call it a miracle, you can call it a myth, you can call it whatever you want, but I feel like that is a truth. When we are truly accepting that that can happen to us, and you know what the underlying meaning of that is, that um, you know, we get to actually experience something that we're desiring. We get to have that happiness, that pleasure, that fulfillment. And that's what he talked about too. This wish fulfillment can happen, and I feel like that is something that we've socially, or at least I have socially been conditioned to not believe that I can have my wishes fulfilled. Why do we believe in fairy tales? Why do we love, like Disney or something? Why does that really resonate with us? Because there's a part of us that truly desires our dreams to be fulfilled. We know that we have these dreams because we want them to be fulfilled. But another part of us is like, this is really hard. So we focus on the fact that we don't have them. So that creates resistance. And that, going back into the subconscious and conscious mind, then you're telling your subconscious mind, I don't have it, I don't have it. So that's exactly what's going to happen and play out in your life. So you are actually the creator of your reality in many ways. We are working with our energies and the energies around us. And we're interdependent, but there is so much that happens within us that we just, we don't understand how to use it. So I feel like all of these, I feel very wise people that have lived on the earthly plane and shared some of their wisdom with us, we can learn from them. Just like, you don't want, they say history repeats itself, but you have a choice of whether you want it to repeat or not, just as like you have a choice in your life. And, the big lesson I learned when I was young was, I wanted to change a lot of things after I left college. And I realized, the only thing I can change is myself. And we all know this. Um, and those of us, who are whatever faith you're in, Christianity, whatever, whatever it is, your own faith that you, Judaism, it doesn't matter what it is. There's a sense that's, again, that something might be outside of us. Though I think that I feel, then I really enjoyed the message of the higher self, because there is a Godhead within us. And I've always believed that. And how do we connect into that infinite possibility, into that infinite energy? Um, and and I feel like when we can realize that this is what we are, this is what we're capable of, that we are limitless, that we are powerful, we can begin to draw in our energy and then repurpose it to create the reality that we want to live in. And I'm inviting you into effortlessness, right? You don't have to work hard. Your invitation, or our invitation, is to believe that it's possible. Surrender to that, accept it, and allow it to occur. We're in the last quarter moon, right? 50% illumination. We're 50% of, think about it. Like, if you're co-creating anything, right? You're going to have a child. The child has to first be created in your mind, right? In your subconscious mind, you and your partner, or you alone, whatever it is, you're deciding together, this is what we want to create. We want to create a being. We want to create a business. We want to create a house. We want to create, right? And when we just say we want to create and allow that thing or that being or that um, idea to emerge in whatever way possible, and we don't let go, right? We cannot let go of the vision, and we then begin to allow it to occur. Like the keep the end in mind kind of thing is the same idea, but you actually feel that you have it. So that feeling is really important. It's something that I've been, really embodying for many, many years, as I said, the last few years. And I've allowed it to happen in a variety of different ways rather than struggling to figure it out, which is what I tried to do in the beginning. And I was listening to all these sleep meditations and all this stuff. And then I just like allowed it to occur, in a way, subconsciously. I didn't consciously decide it anymore. I allowed my subconscious mind to take me there. And I think that's what you may be feeling or seeing right now. Some things are just shifting in your life, like surprisingly, and you're just like, wait, I thought it was going to be like that. But you realize that that's actually what you really desired. And it's beginning to emerge, just like the baby's head coming out of your, your the birth canal. You're just like, whoa, oh my God, it's actually happening. Or, that job or that career move or whatever, that apartment, it's actually happening. I am in it. It's no longer an idea, it has materialized. And though we have prepared ourselves subconsciously and consciously because we had the idea at some point, or the idea came into our consciousness, whichever way you want to look at it. And I feel like it's such an important, not only point, but embodiment. Because when we embody that sense of peace, that we don't have to work hard for something, and we can allow ourselves to receive it. There was a beautiful song that my divine feminine mentor sent me, and I only remember a few of the lines, but the lines are, I surrender, I receive. And then she allows herself to like continue it. If I remember more of the song, I'll put the lyrics inside of the details. But I feel like those two words, surrender and receive, um, allowing yourself to surrender, allowing yourself to receive, trusting the process, having faith in it. And because this is our new beginning, right? This is why it's so important. We're living in this new paradigm, this new earth, however you want to call it. It's about our vibrational frequency. So the more that we vibrate, that we feel the way that we are desiring to be, could be a spiritual feeling of happiness. It could be a material. The Taurus energy is earthly, so you may be dealing with some material issues. And even if there is fear, to, as I said in previous podcasts, to step into that fear, to not be afraid. I feel like that was for me the resistance. I wanted something or I desired something. Um, and I had a lot of fear. So it was really challenging to actually embody it. And I realize even now there are residuals of that, but I also realized that I'm allowing pleasure to enter my life. I am allowing myself to feel happiness and joy and love of my own life, and not asking or pining for it to come outside of me. It's all coming from within, because that's the game, right? The game is, however you want to see it, a game or a path, or how our journey is about self realization. It's about self realization. And if you want to include God or not God, that's your choice. I believe in God. I believe in a higher force. I believe that I was called to do something, whether that's my own higher self or something outside of me, or a co creation of the two. Um, that's my own philosophy, and that is something that you can choose to believe or not believe. It's your choice. Though I do feel that the real work comes inside of ourselves. Just as I've said in earlier podcasts, the kingdom of heaven is within. And even those lines, the kingdom of heaven is within, to really understand it on a very deep level, is that we create the heaven that we want to live in. We create that. And that's why, so within, as within, as without, right? Until we feel it in ourselves, we can't see it outside of ourselves. And I feel it's really important to work on this, and just be aware of it as we are approaching the solar eclipse on April 30th, the new moon in Taurus. Solar eclipses only happen in new moons. I didn't even realize that until I was like, looking it up. And so it's a very powerful one. I believe it's a partial solar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is a full lunar eclipse. I'm not sure where, in which areas it's actually going to be witnessed, like visualized. You're gonna have to look that up. They'll tell you, and it's just it's such a ripe time, a fertile time of all of the things that you may have been striving towards for all of these years, or even just the past few years, you're going to see them really come to the surface. And I feel like doing that inner work is really, really important. As I shared last week, I have the Guidely profile. There are many guides there that can assist you in this process as well as myself. I give personal mentoring for both individual 3 and 6 month programs. I do a group program as well as quantum healing, which are individual sessions, and of course, a 15-minute free chat. If you are gaining a lot of insight from these podcasts, I would definitely recommend that you connect with me. There's no obligation, just the actual, connection. You feel if that's good for you or not. And as well on Guidely, there are many, many people that can help you on your healing journey. So I encourage you to join. I've just joined. I'm going to become more active in the community. I'm really, really excited to join. There are a few people in Israel that are part of it as well, and I'm just excited to be there, and be with everyone that is on this journey together. I've always wanted community, and I feel like this is a really, really nice fit for me. So I'm inviting you to do that, to join me there. As well as to just connect with me individually and see what are the offerings for all the other guides as well, because we work together, and we never know how one thing connects to the next thing, but we know that it feels good, and that is really our only barometer, right? If anything that you have received from this podcast, remember about feeling good and believing in your own self-worth. I feel like this has been the cornerstone of creating confidence, creating balance, reducing stress. I now have a spiritual practice that I've gone back to of yoga, meditation, yoga nidra, and I realized actually also what Neville Goddard was saying is actually yoga nidra. Yoga nidra, if any of you have done it, it's you go into full relaxation. And after your body is fully relaxed, you begin to think of the sankalpa, which is your intention, and you're connecting into your subconscious mind, which is why I usually use yoga nidra when I do my visualization meditations, because as soon as we begin to relax, we could fall into sleep, which is one way, or we can do yoga nidra where we are like half conscious, but we are consciously connecting into the subconscious, you know but your conscious mind is no longer active. You're quiet. And it's a really powerful practice. And those of you that teach it, it's totally amazing. I experienced it at an ashram, and I've decided I do it on my own. I do it with clients sometimes, and it's just a very, very powerful practice. So, and he resonated that in when he was describing about sleep and the subconscious mind. So there is, and about feeling. And I feel like these are really, really important points that I wanted to share with you, especially in preparation of the solar eclipse and the new moon. Is this is really all coming together right now? So I'm encouraging you to step into that, to inquire within yourself. What are some things that I need to work on? Really be honest with yourself, really be authentic, and what are your next steps? How are you going to do it? And allow those answers to come to you, and take that next step. You may feel a little hesitant, or and do what's right for you. but I know that the only constant is change, right? So change is what we need, right? The seasons change, the level of heat changes, everything changes. Our lives change, our children change, everything's always changing. And that is how we can embrace and continue to live and experience and grow. So I feel like a lot of wisdom has occurred today, and I'm inviting you to connect into your own wisdom. And if there is anything I can do to assist you on that path, I'm more than happy. You can connect with me at gila@gilanahemi.com, or go to my website, gilanahemi.com, or go to my Guidely profile, which will be in the details. So thank you, thank you, thank you for listening today. Let's take 3 deep breaths and close this circle. Thank you, thank you, thank you for our ancestors, our power animals, our guides, God Source Universe, the energies of the moon and the sun assisting us in this amazing, amazing transmission, and assisting us throughout in this powerful eclipse gateway. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aho, and so it is.